I'm Maisie and I'm from Shift London. Today we're here at the Vogue Inventing the Runway exhibition. This spectacular new immersive exhibition is taking place at Lightroom London and explores the history of the fashion runway show, from the intimate couture salons of the early 20th century to the unforgettable pop culture events of the present. As you first enter the exhibition, you feel as though you are being taken to the backstage of a runway show. It felt so realistic. The exhibition began by revealing clips from Tom Ford's Spring 2011 runway show, which, unlike traditional runway shows, it exuded a club-like ambience. Ford personally introduced each model, narrating their looks, which added an engaging personal touch. We were then transported back to Alexander McQueen's Spring 1999 runway show, which is often regarded as one of the most iconic and emotionally charged moments in fashion history. The show displayed McQueen's genius for merging performance art with cutting-edge design.
When designers go into theatrics and drama and performance, they are painting a picture of an entire world.
Rick Owens' avant-garde Spring 2022 and 2019 runway shows are showcased as an example, alongside Louis Vuitton Spring 2013 and Gucci Spring 2023. Yohji Yamamoto's Fall 1998 show showcased how staging is woven into the very fabric of the garments.
It's a fun to be extreme and to be a little bit sticky.
I think the quest to stand out has created spectacle, the most memorable moment to create the biggest impact.
Hussein Chalayan's Fall 2000 runway show explored themes of displacement, transformation, and the fluid boundaries between clothing, furniture, and architecture.
I always wanted it to be a cultural experience for the audience. I wanted my shows really from the early days to be more like performances in order to accentuate the story. My family did experience displacement, they had to leave their homes. And then I was, wanting to explore the idea of how you protect your possessions, how you may also want to carry them if you're leaving.
Audiences are then transported back to John Galliano's Spring 1994 runway show, renowned for solidifying his reputation as a fashion visionary. The show felt like a theatrical performance, immersing the audience in the world of Princess Lucretia.
No one gives you directions like John. There is always a story in every show. It's fantasy, and that's what fashion should be.
We wanted to start the show with the theme of Ukraine escaping Russia, a voyage of self-discovery.
Taking place at the Palais Garnier Opera House in Paris, John Galliano's Christian Dior Couture Spring 1998 show vividly showcased his ability to blend the brand's legacy of femininity and elegance with his own theatrical style.
They opened with Suzanne von Eishing in a wonderful black dress with a little treat corn, running up and down the stairs and around the balconies and frightening everyone.
Following this, Karl Lagerfeld's love for thematic grandeur is highlighted with Chanel's Couture Fall 2017 and Spring 2008 runway shows, as well as his iconic Fall 2008 and 2014 shows for the luxury fashion house.
Most of all, he understood that a fashion show could also not only point towards a creative message or a creative point of view, it could be entertaining.
And of course, it wouldn't be a true runway exhibition without mentioning the queen of punk herself, Vivienne Westwood. Her runway shows are renowned for their rebellious energy, political undertones and theatricality, reflecting her status as a fearless provocateur in the fashion world. Her models often interact with the audience or break character by laughing or posing dramatically. At her shows, the music is often loud and aggressive, and both hair and makeup are deliberately bold and unconventional. Westwood revolutionised the concept of runway shows by transforming them into platforms for artistic expression and political activism.
She took the fashion show, she put it on a platform, and she used it to create meaningful change.
We are then transported back to Maison Margiela's Spring 1990 runway show, which exemplified the brand's commitment to deconstructing conventional fashion norms.
It takes fashion out of the perceived world of exclusivity and closed doors, and it puts fashion out of people, and I think that's so important.
His shows didn't just centre around clothes. They were about ideas, expression and breaking boundaries.
He was one of the first designers to talk about clothes and deconstruct them, so he was very, very important at the time to offer an alternate view. And the young kids loved it, we all loved it.
Virgil Abloh's work for Louis Vuitton is also highlighted within the exhibition. The designer is renowned for bringing a fresh and innovative perspective to the iconic French luxury house. He understood the runway show as a multi-dimensional experience, not just a static display of clothes. His runway shows were also notable for their diverse casting and commitment to inclusive representation.
Integrating loose tailoring with streetwear, they showcased a new elegance and spoke to Virgil's all-inclusive vision.
Runway shows are often considered as exclusive. However, Martine Rose's shows are a reflection of her vision for a fashion world where everyone is welcome and individuality is celebrated.
I was never really into creating total fantasy. So much of what I do is rooted in experience of real people. I want people to be able to relate, to be able to identify and see themselves in something, or see people they know in something. I want it to feel familiar but also new, you know what I mean? And the sort of balance of how you do that is where the magic is for me. Before TV, before widespread photography, magazine coverage was one of the few ways for people to experience fashion shows.
The audience learns that fashion magazines like Vogue acted as a window into the world of high fashion before runway shows became so easy to access and engage with.
Few stories crossed over into the mainstream, but after World War II, fashion became news. Perhaps nowhere but in Paris would the rise of a new designing star cause such general excitement.
Christian Dior's 1947 New Look collection showcased his vision of embracing the feminine form after years of wartime clothing restrictions.
Dior became world famous overnight when his first collection, the New Look, won instant acceptance by the women of fashion.
They're all the work of Paris dress designer Pierre Balmain, and the clothes on display were valued at approximately 5 million francs.
The Givenchy look is taking the world by storm.
The audience learns that by the mid-century, photography gave fashion lovers their clearest picture yet of life inside the salon, marking a brand new era of fashion.
Magazine editorials brought the runway to life.
The Cultural Revolution, aka the Youthquake of the 1960s, had a huge influence on the runway show. Young people took centre stage and models began to express themselves more freely on the runways. By the 1990s, television brought fashion into the mainstream. This change made runway shows more culturally significant and accessible. It encouraged new narratives and creative visuals to make the shows more dynamic and engaging for a television audience. Television's role in the 90s also amplified the role of supermodels like Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss and Linda Evangelista. Transformed back to the present, at the end of the exhibition, audiences are reminded of the true magic of the modern runway show and all of the excitement that comes with it.
Multimedia, sensory overload. It's like a scene outside the show, it's a scene inside the show, there's photographers, videographers, press from all around the world, celebrities, influencers, editors, reaching people on a global scale.
It goes beyond just clothing. It's an immersive experience that reflects the designer's artistry, concepts and storytelling.
It was an incredible experience. I wasn't really sure what to expect because I hadn't seen that much about it online, but it was just completely immersive, from the visuals to the audio. It was just like you were there, and every inch of it was just covered in the runway. I think it's really interesting to look at the fashion archives, and fashion is always cyclical, so what's famous in the past is always going to come back to the present. So I think it's really inspirational to watch some of these past runways that I've never seen before. For example, some of them from the 40s, 50s, 60s and the 70s. Oh, I love the 60s and the 70s, so I really enjoyed watching the Mary Quant and the Halston runway shows. It was just amazing, and I loved how in the Mary Quant one they were kind of like poking fun at fashion. They were sort of dancing around the runway, like photographers were like following them as they were walking, and I've never really seen that before. The runways have always been kind of from a distance, so it felt like you were there in the moment. And for the Halston one, I love the glamour of the 70s, and I think the models just looked so beautiful, and I just love Halston's designs, and it's amazing.
So we've just come out of the Vogue Inventing the Runway exhibition, and I thought it was truly amazing. So when you first go in, it feels like you're backstage at a fashion show. It feels like you're one of the models, and as you walk in, you get to see, like, you know, stage over here. You know, it was really cool, and it was really immersive. You get to see, like, you know, lots of different historical fashion shows from when it first began. You get to see designer highlights too. So Karl Lagerfeld, Mary Quant were just a couple of the names that were mentioned. It was really great to revisit these shows, and kind of you get transformed to the past. And it was great to hear about how fashion runways, you know, how inspirational they are and how like critical they are within the fashion industry. So yeah, it was really amazing, and I really do think it's such a great exhibition for young people to visit for sure. If you're intrigued by what you see, book now on lightroom.uk now.